Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here with a little update on Lauren the Mortician, Jeanette Braun, and we're going to hear from two people that are very well qualified to give a legal commentary, a legal opinion on some of the things that have been unfolding. And I wanted to just make this video to elevate what they said and extend the conversation. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so the voices are multiplying, and I love when I can play or react to somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and has the education and experience to back up their opinions. And in this situation, we're going to hear from lawyer Paige. Her name is Paige Sparks. She has 1.7 million followers on TikTok. So she definitely has a really strong community. And, you know, we're going to hear what she has to say. She said, Lauren the Mortician lawsuit explained. It's about a 4-minute, almost 5-minute video. Either way, let's start out with lawyer Paige and hear what she has to say. I did see that Jamie Grayson shared her video. So, you know, we all support Jamie on this channel. We adore Jamie and we are here for Jamie. Even though he's not involved directly in this lawsuit, he is directly involved in what kind of set this whole thing off, and we've gone over that before, but we adore Jamie on this channel. So either way, let's hear from Paige and we will go from there.
My name is Paige Sparks. I'm a lawyer and everything is an allegation still unless I say otherwise, and this is going to be a very high level view because the lawsuit was very long and droning on. Lauren Propson is a huge creator here on TikTok. She's known as Lauren the Mortician. She has a big following and she's known to stitch videos and say how things can cause accidental deaths. And she has kind of like this cult following where people will tag her in the comments saying Beetlejuice and then she'll stitch the video. Some people think it's kind of gone to her head. An attorney from TikTok, Jeanette Braun, is also a plaintiff of this lawsuit.
I would agree with that opinion. I think that this is the same for many creators who are on social media where they start out and, you know, they're making organic content and they're being themselves, and then they get a lot of followers, some of them in a very short period of time. And what that does, it kind of unveils the ego that was buried deep inside. Not everybody who has a lot of followers is egotistical, so please don't twist my words. I'm not saying that it's like that for all big creators, but unfortunately, give somebody a platform and you will see exactly who they are. Give it a little time because sometimes it doesn't happen immediately, but quite often we see the ego and the pride and the not willing to take accountability when they mess up and ignoring valid criticism. That's when you start to see it, and that's where you know, character always shines through. Some people need a little more time than others, and some people are amazing and they have really big platforms, really big channels, and they do well for a long period of time, and they never show that side of them because it's just not who they are. And unfortunately, I feel like those creators are becoming more rare as time goes on, but let's keep going.
3-page lawsuit suing 3 different creators for a variety of claims, but mainly defamation. Now, Lauren and Jeanette have brought this lawsuit against 3 creators or entities for defamation, including the Do We Know Them podcast, Becca Day, and Caffeinated Kitty, because they've shared a lot.
The one thing that I learned very early on while creating YouTube content is that defamation is very hard to prove. And I'm not sure if it's like that worldwide, but here in the United States, defamation is very hard to prove because number one, you have to prove that it was a lie. And number two, you have to prove malice and, you know, did you actually, like, what did you lose because of these lies? Prove that they were malicious. And the only reason I know kind of anything about defamation is because of when Tati Westbrook and Without a Crystal Ball were going through their lawsuit, I was consuming a lot of Emily D. Baker's coverage on that, and she did a ton of education when it comes to defamation. And, you know, I'm not saying that that gave me a sense of, oh, well, that will never happen to me, because you literally never know, and people can still sue you for defamation even if it's, you know, dead in the water. But I will say that it really kind of cemented just how difficult it is to prove. And Without a Crystal Ball literally lied about Tati Westbrook. She came out with outright lies, didn't back anything up, and we saw how that unfolded. So either way, some of y'all were probably around for that period of time. That was very interesting. I was very new on YouTube, and it was wild to kind of sit on the sidelines and not only witness it, but also try to cover it, and cover it from somebody who was very new into the commentary genre. I felt like I was kind of, you know, I wasn't in too deep, but I definitely tried to cover it from a place of just how I cover stuff now. Like, I'm not an attorney, but I will take in what attorneys or people in the profession have to say, and I will try to, you know, present my video with what they have shared, but in my own language and the way that I interpret the information that they delivered, if that makes sense. But let's keep going.
Out of their personal opinions and stitched a lot of videos. There have been a lot of allegations flying back and forth. This is a long lawsuit that's suing for defamation, false light, trade libel, tortious interference with the contract, intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is really hard to prove. The bulk of Lauren the Mortician's claims against these defendants are that she's been defamed by them saying comments that they believe she's transphobic, for example. The rest of the claims in the lawsuit are centered around Jeanette Braun more so, and she is suing, saying they called her an unethical attorney, a rogue attorney.
And this is what I'm saying. People on social media are always going to have an opinion about you. For Lauren to have built her entire platform off of saying, hey, this is a parent right here, and I think that they are exhibiting bad parenting because they could be, you know, literally, you know, putting their child's life at risk by doing this activity, and I'm going to be stitching that video and using their content to prove my opinion, back up my opinion, and then to get mad that other people took her content and the things that she was participating in and coming up with their own opinions on what kind of person she might be. It's just this entire thing. I've already covered the STREISAND effect of it all, but it's big rules for thee, but not for me. And that applies to a lot of YouTubers. It's all fun and games until there's a video made about them, and then it's, you know, World War III and everything is going up in smoke because somebody made a video about them.
Attorney, and they've also alluded to her doing unfair things like marking their videos for copyright infringement, even though it's original content, in an effort to silence them and get it taken down. As for the copyright infringement claims, it's a very, we'll call it a unique legal argument. They're trying to sue Caffeinated Kitty for using comments that are public from Lauren the Mortician and stitching them and talking about them. They're trying to say that is the copyright infringement. I don't think that's going to fly. This has gotten kind of messy and petty. There have been a lot of allegations flying back and forth that Lauren the Mortician and Jeanette Braun have called in false welfare checks on Caffeinated Kitty to harass and threaten her.
We're going to focus more on those wellness checks again in the second part of this video. So I'm hearing what she's saying, but stay tuned because I have additional thoughts on that specific issue.
Basically, and they are saying they've lost business and reputation credibility from the allegations by these creators. If you follow me, you already know that defamation is usually kind of hard to prove, especially if some of the things they're saying are true. Truth is a defense to defamation. If the person's considered a public figure, it's an even higher standard that they have to show. Basically, they have to show malice, that there was ill intent about it. But I'm not saying either one of these people are a public figure, so let's go with the regular defamation test. To prevail on a claim for defamation, usually the plaintiffs will have to show that a false statement was made. In order to be eligible for defamation, the false statement has to be made and purported as fact. So if someone's saying this is just my opinion, this is public information that I'm talking about, anything like that kind of sinks or swims at this stage for whether or not it's purported as fact.
And that is why most commentary channels, definitely not all of them, but a lot of times they, in my opinion, allegedly, this is a conspiracy. This is what I think. This is my opinion. This is alleged. That's why those, like, there's a certain vocabulary within the commentary space that gets kind of tiring for viewers to constantly be hearing alleged, conspiracy, my opinion, it's not a fact, blah, 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 blah. But it really is important, because if you think about commentary as a genre, we are providing our interpretation of what we're seeing in front of us, whether it's a piece of public information, if it's a piece of content, if it's a comment that somebody left. This is my interpretation. This is my opinion of what I see in front of me. And my opinion is not going to be like your opinion, and that's okay, because we're going to have a conversation about it. But there are certain words that, you know, I've heard it from some viewers where they're like, I'm so tired of the word allegedly. I'm so tired of the word opinion. But that's what commentary is. And it's important for creators to remind everybody that this is only my opinion. And as a reminder, opinions are not facts. That's literally been in the beginning of my videos since I started doing commentary. Opinion-based video. Opinion is not a fact. This is just my opinion. It is not proven. And it's important to draw that line in the sand. And even if it gets repetitive, it's important.
Next, the plaintiff has to show that these comments were somehow published to the public, which I don't think we'll have an issue with, because all of these people involved have done a lot of videos and a lot of talking about this case, which I generally don't encourage. When you have ongoing litigation, don't do that. You have to show fault amounting to at least negligence, and you also have to show that you suffered actual loss to your reputation or business. We're talking like cash money loss here in order to have damages under defamation. What I'm about to say next is all my opinion, just so there are no...
And in the lawsuit, Lauren pointed to how she was going to work with some documentary, like she was going to be involved in some kind of documentary, and that was something that she lost out on, even though there was not a shred of evidence attached to it. There was not an offer letter, there was not a contract, there was nothing from this documentary production company that she was supposed to be working with. But that is, in my opinion, it is not proven, because I don't trust Lauren, and I certainly don't trust Jeanette. And that could have just been something that was a casual conversation that Lauren had with somebody who might know somebody at a network. So that's not, even though that was in the lawsuit, that is not the kind of cash money that Paige is talking about here.
No issues, and I don't get any cease and desist letters. Everything I'm about to say next is my opinion. I think this is a slap lawsuit that actually had the Barbara Streisand effect, where these two creators that are the plaintiffs went after these other non-lawyers.
I literally talked about the Streisand effect with Lauren the Mortician. I think it was last week or the week before last. I'll link that video down below. I immediately, once I saw that this was actually going to go forward, I immediately thought of the Streisand effect. And it's actually very interesting to hear somebody else bring that up as well, because that is literally the first thing that I thought about.
Creators, they're trying to drown them in legal bills because they're going to have to get an attorney to represent them, and in the meantime, it'll shut them up. But because of TikTok and the media, the Barbara Streisand effect is coming in, where people are talking about that more than the...
And the girlies have a GoFundMe, which has, you know, surpassed its goal. They have tons of support from followers. And so, yes, the legal fees are still a big inconvenience, but they also have backing from people who are willing to donate because they see how wrong and egregious this lawsuit is.
Other people involved. The defendants have a GoFundMe set up. I think they've all retained law firms. When I looked at this on Pacer Online, they were not served yet, so they don't have an answer due or anything. I'm not really sure what is going on in that, because Pacer is silent to why they haven't been served, but I hope they defend this. I think this is a dangerous precedent to set if we start letting lawyers who just know a lot of legal phrases sue everyone to keep them quiet with the slap lawsuit. That is the problem with the slap lawsuit. My final unpopular opinion on this is that it may be a publicity stunt for the law firm that is representing Lauren the mortician and the other attorney that are suing, because at the bottom of their press statement, and actually in parts within the lawsuit, it's literally like a weird advertisement for the law firm. So that is not something we typically see, and I would not consider that normal. This is the case number. If you want to go on Pacer and look up the petition, they have like a small fee to pull up it's like a $3.
So I will link Paige's video down below in case you guys want to go over there and support her, or look at the comments, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. That is going to be linked in my description box. So she obviously had a lot of really good points. And I found it interesting that she mentioned the Streisand effect. I think that it's also confirms kind of my thoughts as far as why this lawsuit is even happening. I think a lot of us looked at it initially and said, this is simply to, this is a power move. This is a let me try to bully you into submission move. And that was the opinion of a lot of us. So let's go over to the Mad Catster's channel, and on his about section, it says, let's expose the BS with a sense of humor. You can run, but you sure can't hide. I'm a real lawyer who loves to find the dirt. I am a dad to 13 rescue cats I saved from euthanasia. My cats' names are Sybil, Edith, Mary, Chloe, Clarice, Cedric, Stefan, Gills, Antoinette, Nero, Sophie, Amelie, and Oliver? Let me know if there's a story you would like me to do. The Mad Catster merch store is now open. His cats have an Amazon wish list. They have a Patreon page, so he's got all kinds of stuff going on over there. But he did this video, and he pulled this Georgia Code Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, because he talked about these wellness checks that I've covered in previous videos. I'll link those down below as well, in case you guys missed those. But the reason that he pulled this code is because it could really have a big negative effect on Jeanette if they were proven to be done in a harassment kind of improper manner. Because I've said it before, I'll say it another 100 times, you do not send police to somebody's home. You do not do that. There are very few situations that I can think of where it would make sense to do a wellness check on somebody. And it's surely nothing that I've come across on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, none of them. And I've spent quite a lot of time on social media over the years. But he pulled this, and so it says, false report means the fabrication of an incident or crime or of material information relating to an incident or crime, which the person making the report knows to be false at the time of making the report. And that goes back to the extorting and blackmailing claims that were made in those 911 calls. Please go listen to those if you haven't heard them yet and you're interested in this lawsuit, because there were a lot of really scary claims that were made against Kitty, and that was their grounds to do this wellness check. The third point is harass means to knowingly and willingly engage in any conduct directed toward a communications officer that is likely to impede or interfere with such communications officer's duties, that threatens such communication officer or any member of his or her family, or that places any member of the public served or to be served 911 service. And then he also included this part regarding any person who violates subsection B of this code section shall be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500 or 12 months in jail, or both.
But based on, certainly on Jeanette Braun's call, they did actually send someone out. Of course, they determined there was absolutely no reason for it. And this was a waste of not only police resources, but tying up 911 dispatchers when there potentially could be a call that's an actual emergency that they could be taking to help somebody truly in distress is actually against Georgia law. And I'm going to show you the statute here that I believe that if these calls are found to have been bogus, and you can be the judge, that they broke this particular law in Georgia. So you can see here, Georgia Code Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, Section 16-11-39.2, and they define certain things that a false report means the fabrication of an incident or crime or of material information relating to an incident or crime which the person making the report knows to be false at the time of making the report. Harass means to knowingly and willingly engage in any conduct directed toward a communications officer that is likely to impede or interfere with such communication officer's duties. So I think that these calls might qualify for that. It's obviously up to law enforcement to decide that, but they're calling knowing that what the information that they're giving is not really grounds for the wellness check they're requesting, and it's interfering with the officer's duties because it's tying them up unnecessarily. And you can see this paragraph B here where it says, a person commits the offense of unlawful conduct during a 911 telephone call if he or she calls or otherwise contacts 911, whether or not conversation ensues, so they don't even have to answer, for the purpose of annoying, harassing, or molesting a 911 communications officer, or for the purpose of interfering with or disrupting emergency telephone service. So again, arguably, the fact that they know that they're not making calls that are based in legitimate concern, I think could definitely be a violation of the statute. And then you'll see down here, under number 5, it says calls or otherwise contacts 911 and makes a false report. Any person who violates subsection B of this code shall be guilty of a misdemeanor and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500 or 12 months in jail or both. So, I mean, I think that, in my opinion, based on the curiously similar language that the two of them used, I think that, first of all, in my opinion, it looks like it was like a joint enterprise where they discussed that they were going to do this, that they weren't independently suddenly concerned for caffeinated kitties' well-being.
So either way, he pulled those codes, and I found that to just be very interesting. So I thank the my Instagram follower that shared this video with me, because there's been a lot of chatter around what could this mean for Jeanette if things move forward and it's proven that these were not done from a place of moral integrity, and if they were weaponizing, which is the common opinion that a lot of us have. It's, you know, pretty obvious to a lot of people that these wellness checks were not done from a place of concern, but a place of wanting to scare Caffeinated Kitty, wanting to rattle her cage. And if you, you know, if you were really concerned for someone's mental health and you don't want to, you know, maybe have a really negative outcome, the last thing you want to do is shake their cage. And I've seen that on social media. So either way, again, I will link his video down below as well. But to be able to hear from two attorneys, I thought it was great. So I wanted to provide this as a little update to you guys. I'll have tons of videos and stuff linked in my description box, but that's what's going on as of right now. Yeah, so for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.